Yesterday, I did part one, talking about the birth rates for countries A through L from 1960 and 2023, doing the comparison and how the birth rate looked in 1960 and 2023. Today, I'm going to do the remaining countries. Now, for the first number, it's going to be the 1960 number. For the second number, it'll be 2023. I won't be saying those years anymore after this. All right, I'm trying to get through the rest of the countries. All right, we have Macau, 5 births to zero point 0.7 births. That is a dramatic drop. We got Madagascar at 7.3 births, down to 4. Malawi, 7 births, down to 3.6. We got Malaysia, 6.4 births, down to 1.6 births. The Maldives, 6.7, down to 1.6. Mali, 7, down to 5.6. Malta, 3.6, down to 1.1. Marshall Islands, 8.1, down to 2.9. Martinique, 5.7, down to 2. Mauritania, 6.1, down to 4.7. Mauritius, 5.9, down to 1.2. Mayotte, 7, down to 4.6. Mexico, 6.8, down to 1.9. Micronesia, 6.7, down to 2.7. Moldova, 3.3, down to 1.7. Monaco, 2.8, down to 2.1. Mongolia, 6.8, down to 2.7. Montenegro, 3.5, down to 1.8. Montserrat, 4.6, down to 1.4. Morocco, 6.9, down to 2.2. Mozambique, 6.3, down to 4.8. Myanmar, 5.9, down to 2.1. Namibia, 6.2, down to 3.2. Nauru, 5.3, down to 3.3. Nepal, 6.1, down to 2. Netherlands, 3.1, down to 1.4. New Caledonia, 5.4, down to 2. New Zealand, 4.2, down to 1.7. Nicaragua, 7.2, down to 2.2. Niger, 7.5, down to 6.1. Nigeria, 6.4, down to 4.5. New, 7 to 2.5. North Korea, 3.6, down to 1.8. North Macedonia, 3.8, down to 1.5. Northern Mariana Islands, 6.0, down to 2.3. Norway, 2.8, down to 1.4. Oman, 7.3, down to 2.5. Pakistan, 6.8, down to 3.6. Palau, 7.2, down to 1.9. Palestine, 7.8, down to 3.3. Panama, 5.8, down to 2.1. Papua New Guinea, 6 births, down to 3.1. Paraguay at 6.5, down to 2.4. Peru, 6.9, down to 2. Philippines, 7, down to 1.9. Poland, 3, down to 1.3. Portugal, 3.2, down to 1.5. Puerto Rico, 4.6, down to 0.9. Qatar, 6.5, down to 1.7. Reunion, 6.1, down to 2.2. Romania, 2.3, down to 1.7. Russia, 2.6, down to 1.4. Rwanda, 8.3, geez, down to 3.7. St. Bartholomew, 2.8, down to 0.8. St. Helena, 5.3, down to 1.6. St. Kitts and Nevis, 6.5, down to 1.5. St. Lucia, 6.8, down to 1.4. St. Martin, 6.4, down to 2.7. St. Pierre and Miquelon, 4.6, down to 1.3. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 7.2, down to 1.8. Samoa, 7.8, down to 3.8. San Marino, 2.4, down to 1.1. Sao Tome and Principe, 6.2 down to 3.6. Saudi Arabia, 7.6 down to 2.3. Senegal, 7 down to 3.8. Serbia, 2.2 down to 1.5. Seychelles, Seychelles, 5.3 down to 2.1. Sierra Leone, 6.2 down to 3.8. Singapore, 5.8 down to 0.9. Saint Martin, 4.8 down to 1.4. Slovakia, 3 down to 1.6. Slovenia, 2.2 down to 1.6. Solomon Islands, 7.1 down to 3.6. Somalia, 7.3 down to 6.1. South Africa, 6.1 down to 2.2. South Korea, 6 down to 0.7. South Sudan, 7.2 down to 3.9. Spain, 2.8 down to 1.2. Sri Lanka, 5.4 down to 2. Sudan, 6.7 down to 4.3. Suriname, 6.6 down to 2.2. Sweden, 2.2 down to 1.4. Switzerland, 2.4 down to 1.4. Syria, 7.5 down to 2.2. Taiwan, 5.8 down to 0.9. Tajikistan, 6.2 down to 3.1. Tanzania, 6.5 down to 4.6. Thailand, 6.3 down to 1.2. Togo, 6.8 down to 4.2. Tokelau, 5.7 down to 2.6. Tonga, 6.7 down to 3.1. Trinidad and Tobago, 5.4 down to 1.5. Tunisia, 7.2 down to 1.8. Turkey, 6.4 down to 1.6. Turkmenistan, 6.6 down to 2.7. Turks and Caicos, 6 down to 1.5. Tuvalu, 5.1 down to 3.2. Uganda, 6.9 down to 4.3. Ukraine, 2.3 down to 1. United Arab Emirates, 6.5 down to 1.2. United Kingdom, 2.7 down to 1.6. United States, 3.7 down to 1.6. United States Virgin Islands, 5.1 down to 2.1. Uruguay, 2.8 down to 1.4. Uzbekistan, 6.6 down to 3.5. Vanuatu, 6.8 down to 3.6. Vatican, 1 to 1. Venezuela, 6.4 down to 2.1. Vietnam, 6.3 down to 1.9. Wallis and Futana, 7 down to 1.4. This is the last screenshot. Western Sahara, 6.4 down to 2.2. Yemen, 8 down to 4.6. Zambia, 6.9 down to 4.1. Zimbabwe, 7.2 down to 3.7. That was a lot of countries. I told you all that I would finish it up. You can see how dramatically many of these countries have fallen. Some of them didn't fall that much, but some of these countries where women used to have 6, 7, 8, 9 births per woman. Just imagine how much it really was on the high end, because not every woman was having 6, 7, 8. So that means that some of these women were having 8, 9, and 10 babies on average. I am happy that women are not having to have that many babies. And hopefully for some of these countries that still have a very high birth per woman, hopefully we can help get them lower. Anyways, like I said, I put this out for y'all. Let me know what you think. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share.